Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Jess, and welcome back to the Apparoni and Cheese of the Week, where today I am re-releasing Skyrim for the 20th time. Instead of doing the Dark Souls dating tier list, now I'm doing the Deadlock dating tier list. Alright, we're starting off with a quite solid one. Abrams. Yeah, his name is Abrams because he's a tank. Get it? It's not funny. But he is blue, so that wins him a lot of points back. But, most importantly, he does have a LeBron James crossover skin from Multiverses for Deadlock, so that gives him a lot of points. You know what? I don't want to say this too early. Yep, I think we know where Abrams is going to go. We're obviously going to have to put him in the blue category. Really solid. Well, not on the Dwifta baby category, but blue. Blue's a very solid category. Apollo. So, I don't even know what Apollo's age is, but, like, they go to, like, school or university, so I'm like, I don't even think Buddy's even 18. So, obviously, no. Apollo and presumably Craves confirmed to be 18. Whatever, Buddy's 18. Sure, you know what? You're given a free bone by the Google AI here, Apollo. Whatever. Yeah, even with that stated, I don't think we could ever really be friends. Buddy's red. Bebop. All things considered, I actually really don't know that much about Bebop. You know what? I think that's a solid friends tier right there. You know what? Bebop is orange, so obviously they go in now. The orange tier. I'm not going to change the label of that to orange. I'm not crazy, okay? Billy. Oh, this is an easy one. Billy, I find your persona to be unbelievably lackluster and uninteresting, and you excite me the way that mixing paint in with my dinner instead of watching YouTube for dinner. Obviously, stop woman, you are way too close pepper spray. Calico. Aristocratic woman, has a cat, and also kind of has what seems like a very private life. The only question is, how would she react when I make dinner? So this is a two-parter here. One, if she likes it when I make dinner and finds my warm salads acceptable, I think that's a very easy, I'm the Dwifta baby. But that's not really the case. Oh my, I'm help me. Help me. Calico's most likely going to be the one making all the decisions in that relationship, which is unbalanced, but you know, some people have a relationship like that. And would Calico be quite receptive to the other's feelings? That's actually a very good question, because I said that, I'm like, you know, Calico does strike me as someone who may not be that receptive to other people's feelings, but more receptive to their cat's feelings. All right, so we'll have to scroll up here. Yeah, 50-50 on a nice relationship here, because I imagine, like, dating would not be the worst thing in the world, but going further with that, that's where Celeste. I'm a big fan of Celeste, the video game. Yeah, so we're gonna have to put Celeste into the fun platformer category here. A big fan of Celeste. I do think the game does get a lot harder once you finish the main game, but overall, it's a pretty solid game. The Doorman. Yeah, the hallway of evil, floating ghosts, and people trapped in houses. So obviously, I had to put him in the I love the Baroness so much, please don't hurt me category. Gotta say, had a wonderful trip to the Baroness. One of my favorite places. Would never not recommend the Baroness. The Dwifta. I'm the Dwifta baby. I've been waiting for this one. This one's a special one. He says, I'm the Dwifter baby. Except he doesn't. Other than that, he's a homeless man. But he doesn't say I'm the Drifter baby. That loses a lot of points. Unfortunately, I'm the one who says I'm the Drifter baby. I've asked about it, but still nothing. I don't know why there's not an I'm the Dwifta baby. That just goes to show you that he doesn't care. He simply does not care. So I have to put him in this category for false advertising. Does not say I am the Dwifta baby. Dr. Neutron. Dr. Neutron is married. Got to put him in the married, but we probably don't have much to talk about, so this is more just awkward category. Put the two of us in a room together, like, what are we really going to talk about? You understand me? I feel like Dr. Neutron's a little too bright for my, varying intelligence. Graves, she has a job with a funny Dr. Zomboss guy, was a babysitter, really nice to people, but can be a dick. Alright, we'll have to put Graves into the PvZ gamer category. Dude, I would hang out with Graves all the time. That sounds like a vibe. I might be giving a little bit more credit than they're due, because, yeah, Graves is kind of classic goth. People suck. Nah, I might have to move this one down, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Will the vibe really always be there? I was like, oh, Plants vs. Zombies. Graves loves Plants vs. Zombies. But just because someone likes a game that you do does not automatically put them up higher on your friendship here. I'll bump it down one, because it really depends on how passionate Graves is about playing video games on the weekend. Gray Talon. He's an old man. Okay, this is an easy one. I already made this category. Mary, but we probably don't have much to talk about, so this is more just awkward. Yeah, no, this is just awkward. Hayes. She works for the government. It can never happen. Holiday with 2 L's. Definitely not a stop woman, you're way too close pepper spray moment right here, but definitely no. No. Infernus? Oh, yeah, Infernus. It's just gonna be friends, actually, now I'm thinking about it. There's a Rem and Infernus dialogue where Infernus is kind of just like nodding his head a little bit with everything that Rem is saying. I think our dynamic will be quite similar to that, where Infernus is being nice, but he's not just going to be like, I'm going to entertain everything that you're going to do at this moment. Infernus is going to keep you very down to earth. So actually, that's actually really good for balance. Infernus is going to balance you out very well. But I need to be probably a bit more of an alcoholic to be a little bit higher of a friends list with Buddy. You know, to be fair, I joke about alcohol all the time. Unfortunately, I've not gone full alcoholic like my father. Ivy. This is a tough one. She's a gargoyle that was given life. She turns into a rock. Spanish Harlem. I mean, Ivy's just a nice person and a bundle of joy here as well. I mean, I really can't see her any other way as one of the members of the Harlem Globetrotters. Kelvin. It'd just be awkward, but he's not married or anything, but I don't see any interest we really share at this moment, all things considered. Lady Geist. As we all know, everything green is absolutely evil, and obviously we could never gel together ever, and I would want to build a 10-foot wall made of lead between us. So there you go, lady guys. Lash. Oh, easiest. I'm the Dwifta, baby. I mean, do I even have to say it? He's Lash. But he also owns a charity for stupid kids. I mean, can it really get better than that? Philanthropist, puts on a show, punches people, but he's just absolutely perfect in every single way. McGinnis. Nothing personally wrong with her or anything. Hard worker. Her boss does own the military-industrial complex, but she is the one who made the bomb. So, while the United States government told Oppenheimer to make the bomb, how do I personally feel about Oppenheimer making the bomb? Oppenheimer expresses regret and remorse for creating the atom bomb. McGinnis does not care about the Soul Grinder 9000 bomb that she made. So, you know, we gotta put her in Raytheon Missile Developer. I'm not gonna go out of my way to try to make friends with her, because I imagine I would get along with her very well. That's the thing. But I have to have my moral compass here. Sorry. I have to have some principles on this YouTube channel, okay? Mina. She was engaged to Pocket and got mad that Pocket had an attempt on his life and was like, I should become a vampire as compensation by her parents. I imagine Mina's parents are very nice, but Mina, well, is a little bit more on the spoiled side here. But, I mean, she still does work. She has, like, her own fashion line, so that's cool. If anything goes wrong, though, you know who's gonna beat you when she gets home. Yeah, it's Mina. She's gonna be the one who beats you. All right, so for Mina, I'm gonna be honest. I know people are like, oh, Mina's pretty. But I'm like, take a look under the hood. Ooh. But he's got a lot of personal development to go through. And I don't want to be the stepping stone to that personal development of reasonability or just a continued downward spiral. So obviously I got to put her in the reminds me of my dad category. Mirage. Buddy really enjoys bowling. Unfortunately, he is very attached to his work, so it'd be a very, very difficult thing. While yes, he does teleport everywhere, Nashala is basically always there, and well, I mean, you can't really do that. Like, Mirage would just be extremely engaging in conversation, just in general, and Buddy would be a very, very fun person to play bowling with. I'm like, looking up here, we basically only have like 4 dateable people in this moment. But, you know, these are the cream of the crop here. We only have high standards here at Jesse Levine Incorporated. Mo and Krill. I'll put it up here, but I couldn't play poker with them on the weekend. I would be a little terrified to play poker with Mo and Krill. Paige. She is a nerd and likes books. Paradox is a bunch of bored, rich time travelers who steal things and put them in a museum. I already know the first thing, we're not going to get along because Paradox is like, you probably don't have anything interesting to steal. And that's all they care about is objects. So really, it's never going to work out because their eyes is on the object, and that's just not ideal for a relationship. So gotta put her in the holiday category. Pocket. Buddy got a gun shot at them. Buddy lives in a suitcase and lives in the sewer. Yeah, we'll be friends. I think that's an easy friends right there. Rem. Rem is a baby. They basically were like just born. I simply already knows it exists. Don't be one of those people. Have an alternative universe for the love of God, please. But if we're talking back to the ranking here, obviously I have to pay child support for them. I mean, I imagine I'll end up gelling with my son pretty well. It depends on who they grow up with, you know, the friends that they meet during school to see if we'll really vibe with each other later on. You know, will I actually have a good relationship with my son? So for the moment, I'll just have to put them in the child support payment category. 7. You know, you gotta love someone who's ambitious and willing to sacrifice a lot of things. Unfortunately, they seem a little bit way too ambitious, and it just won't work out with that. There's no work-life balance. So we'll put that in the reminds me of my dad category. Shiv. Shiv has a pompadour. We could never truly be friends. Silver. An alcoholic. So we'll put them in reminds me of my dad. And go back down. Dr. Phantasmo. These two are two souls trapped in the same body and they want to separate. So that's also another reminds me of my dad right there. The Venator. Smokes a cigar. So basically they work for the government. So you know what? It's not gonna work out. I imagine they would be cool to have like a drink with, but like, no, we're not. No, there would be nothing more than that. It's no. Victor. I'm at the item shop with my support laner. Can I get 800 souls? She's running spirit, please, so don't get no gun. I'll be honest. Yeah, we can be friends. But Buddy's going to be doing like a lot of journeys, adventures, learning about themselves. So really, we're not going to really be hanging out too much. So I can't really get to know him, you know? Vindicta. She is blue. Keep that in mind. She is blue. So that is a very large point in her favor. Unfortunately, her pursuit is towards a guy called Hawthorne at the moment. And not because she's interested in them, but because she's a spirit of vengeance. So until Hawthorne and the entire family line has been exterminated, that's basically all it is. It's essentially a massive crusade. So essentially, she's a little bit too attached to her work at the moment and can't really find ways to get away from it. Reminds me too much of my dad. Viscous. Bull or Clash Royale. Buddy turns into a big ball. And you might be saying, oh, isn't Viscous green? Yes. But Viscous can turn into a ball. So obviously, always want to hang out with Viscous. Viscous would be very fun to hang out with. Viper. Okay, Viper's green. We're not going to deal with that. Warden. I kind of don't care about Warden. Go into that category. Wraith. Runs the mob, basically, so she's basically like Tony Soprano. So, you know, that reminds me of my dad too much. Yamato has like a small mob, speaks Japanese, and has a giant samurai sword to slash people with. Yeah, that reminds me way too much of my dad. Very small amount of dateable people here. You know what? We have Lash, Paige, Celeste, Abrams, and Calico. These are the only reasonable people. We do get a lot of friends, though. You know, we get a lot of friends. We got 2 people who are bowling balls, and Ivy's almost a bowling ball, so we almost had 3 there. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of people who remind me of my dad. So, Deadlock, I will say, if we're looking at more dateable characters, less people that remind me of my father, because, you know, I haven't still gotten over that trauma. Well, anyways, bye-bye.